So I wanted to talk about when you hit a wall, because, oh, my drink. Because yesterday, especially as like a creative entrepreneur or a creative professional, or a creative freelance artist, whatever it is, like what happens when you hit a wall and you have shit to do, right? That's like the worst feeling. And I'm somebody that preaches rest a lot. And yesterday I hit a wall, and it was really frustrating because I had a lot to do, but I could feel within my body because I'm comfortable with myself and I'm cultivating this awareness and this relationship with myself to be able to meet myself where I'm at and support myself and in being able to thrive in life. So when I feel that I'm hitting a wall, I had the pause. I had my lunch, I took some time for a little bit of movement and some breaths and some things that usually help me feel better to support myself and especially to nurture my stress response and help me to just kind of chill. I decided to pack up early from my office and go home. I was like, I'll just finish working at home, which is a very real thing. I have a home office. I'm comfortable working at home all the time, so it wasn't a realistic idea. It wasn't an unrealistic idea. But then when I got home, I could just feel it within me that I had no work left in me. And so I was like, okay, it's been a busy week. It's a lot of shit going on in the world. You're a little stressed out. Maybe you feel a little overworked because when I have big work projects, I don't know about you creativepreneurs, but I tend to just like put my head down and work through like crazy days, crazy hours, and that ends up in me getting extremely burnt out really quick. Because I've found over these years and working with a bunch of different schedules and systems and trying to like be able to go with the flow that I need to feel like I have at least one full day off a week. And I need to make sure that somewhere in there I'm balancing time to myself. So I took that time away yesterday, and it felt frustrating because I was like, usually it's weird because I don't personally find myself in this position often, but I want to share it because I know that many of us do, especially when this is the world we live in, is like this work world where we're expected to produce constantly. And so many of people from our community, my community here, the self-care creature community, tell me that I can't rest. I physically can't rest. I feel guilty. I feel lazy. I get bored. Like, I don't know what to do with myself. But the thing is that has been taught. That has been taught. And you need to learn how to be able to cultivate that space for yourself so that you're not just in on mode all the time. So I just wanted to share that it was frustrating to have to step away from a project, and but I knew that I wouldn't be able to produce properly. And I look forward, I'm excited to come back and get into my projects this morning because I can already feel that I feel rested, I feel more awake, I have more ideas because it's morning time. That was afternoon yesterday where I was just starting to hit that wall. And here's the other thing, because I also have a background as a functional nutritionist, and especially when it comes like in the food world, especially when you're talking about functional nutrition where you can very much support the body to be able to prevent dis-ease from occurring within the body. And it's this thing where we're like, oh, well, it's this. Like, oh, afternoon slump at 3 o'clock. It's obviously because you didn't eat properly and all of that kind of stuff. And here's the thing that I did think to myself, because I was sharing online yesterday that I had leftover pizza for breakfast and how I don't usually eat that kind of food all the time for breakfast because I know that it won't sustain me throughout the day. And then lo and behold, later in the day, I had an afternoon slump. And so I was asking myself that, the nutritionist in me was like, do you think that it was that pizza and that you didn't, you haven't really been like supporting yourself nutritionally through this day? And the second I ask myself that, I get this like nagging, sinking feeling, like that diet culture feeling where I'm just like, maybe, Maybe it was. Like, I don't fucking care. I don't want to, like, I'm so burnt out myself on thinking about food and still working my way back from that. And so here's the thing. Yes, I know these things about how food specifically affects my body. I know what kind of support I need nutritionally to be able to thrive in a day. And it is very important for me in particular, because when I am not supporting myself nutritionally, I start to frazzle out and what is that word? Not unwind, untangle, unravel. Start to unravel. Everything else just starts falling to shit. But here's the thing. It's never just one thing. That is what I have come to learn in this life. And so, yeah, I'm sure it was a part of nutritionally. I'm sure it was part being overworked. I'm sure it was part of these big projects that I've been thinking about nonstop. I'm sure it was part of this world pandemic. I'm sure it was part of all the shit going on in my family life. I'm sure that all of it made up the big picture that for whatever reason in this moment right now, today, or yesterday it was, I wasn't able to finish doing what I needed to do. And so this is what is wonderful, when we can begin to understand this about ourselves and be able to communicate more properly with our colleagues if you are working with somebody else. So like I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a creative entrepreneur, so I can just make my schedule step away, kind of flow and, do whatever I need to do. But say that you are working in a work environment and you have this pressure to get this project done. So there's varying levels of pressure to keep going and to work through these walls, which is kind of literally impossible. At some point, you are just going to get burnt out, and that's what we're trying to prevent here. So one thing is that when you recognize these things about yourself and you have this relationship with yourself, it gives you the confidence to be able to speak up for yourself and about yourself. So I often just tell clients, like, have you tried telling your boss, like, hey, I really feel like I'm hitting a wall. I know that if I can take some time away to just rest, I'll be able to come back and finish this better in the morning. And that's another thing, is that some people don't like the idea of dropping it and coming back. Like, yeah, I had this idea that I was going to get a certain amount of things done today. And it's like, that's our ego mind being like, this has to be done. But what if you could rest up? What if you gave yourself the afternoon off, you were able to go for a walk, hang out with your partner, see some friends, like, get some movement in and enjoy your day and your evening, get a full night's rest, get up in the morning, eat breakfast, go through your little routine, and then get back to work. And you finish the project faster than you would have hunched over the desk, clenching your hands and your jaw all night long, just trying to fucking rack your brain and get it done. Because you know what that leads to? It leads to then you work late and you crash, and you don't sleep well, you don't eat properly, and it's like that whole downward spiral. So this is it. We're learning how to take time for ourselves. We're learning how to know ourselves, to be able to take that time to support ourselves. And to finish up this story real quick, when you are able to confidently communicate this with people in your life, they want the best for you. Countless times, my clients are always terrified. I could never say that to my boss. Everyone always says that. There's no way I could ever communicate that. They're not understanding, like, no. And it's like, but then there's occasionally the person that's like, this is my life, and I'm not asking for permission to be who I am. I'm telling people what I need to be able to support me. And so I'm saying I need to take a break and I'm going to step away. So those are two extremes, right? Like, I don't want to say anything. You can't tell me what to do. So meet in the middle. Ask for what you need. Learn how to communicate. And it can be really scary and clunky. And when you aren't feeling confident, that's okay at first. Just so you know, it's going to feel a little weird because you have to cultivate this. But it's important. This is the world that I dream of us living in, a world where we can confidently be able to speak what we need, know how to support each other. And this is also how we build trust and community and have a stronger team to be able to work together with, whether that is a team in your, like a family team, a friend team, a work team, whatever it is, a community and team. I hope this helped you. I hope that whenever you feel your next wall hitting, that you are able to step away and support yourself in ways that you may need. And remember that it looks different for every person. I often get caught up in these damn stories in my head, like, oh, you're gonna do this, or wow, like just big judgment on myself. And oftentimes I have to stop and say, yeah, I am gonna take care of me. This is what I need right now. And I've gotten to a point where, you know, yesterday when I hit that wall, and a couple friends in the evening when I saw them asked me how I was doing, and I was like, I'm okay. Like, I hit a wall today at work and I just had to stop, and I feel frustrated about it, but I'm just trying to let it go. And it was good to hear me say that out loud, because I hadn't acknowledged it fully within myself, but at the same time, I wasn't dwelling on it. I wasn't caught up on it. I was able to, and because I wasn't caught up on it, I didn't get hyper-focused on what wasn't happening. I let it go, and I just focused on what I did want to do, what's going to make me feel good, and just put all the focus on me. Energy flows where intention goes, and so you focus on what you want, not what's not happening. And you can even focus on the gratitude, calling in that gratitude of how awesome the project's going to be when you finish it, when you come back fully rested. So let me know how this resonates. Give me a follow on Instagram if you guys want to keep in touch. If you want to chat, slide into my DMs. You can always ask all the questions. I'm happy to answer them in the comments here or the DMs on Instagram. Talk to you later.